Interesting. Looking at myself in this stain.
What should I do?
What should I do? What should I do?
What should I do?
What are my rights?
What are my rights?
What are my rights?
A legal course of action.
A legal course of action.
A legal course of action.
A legal Morse of action.
Ooh, it's go time.
It is go time. Let me just remove all these.
Oh, I was like, is Batman coming?
Can you close this the extra window that's right there?
This.
Yeah. Okay, let me turn that off. I'm so sorry, folks. I had to reset the studio. Literally reset the entire studio.
The studio of my kitchen.
About 2 minutes before we went live. Now,
That's like everyone's excuse on their Zoom meeting. Sorry, I had an update.
no, and like I just have the worst luck. Literally every time before I go live, some little minuscule thing happens that just throws everything out.
We're planning.
No, it's just bad time.
Sure.
Let me do this.
Where are we starting tonight? What material are we starting with?
There we go. Okay. Hi, everyone, ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls. Welcome to a brand new episode of Legal Morse of Action. My name is Patricio, and as always, we are joined by Attorney Morse. How you doing, Aaron?
Oh, so good.
This has been a really...
Yesterday was a crazy day, so we had to delay this until today. I had a crazy hearing that was really important to us.
Yeah, and normally when I see things on the calendar, I'm like, okay, maybe we'll be able to record a show. But then I forgot that it was a certain individual, and I'm like,
yeah, one case. It was an intense case. This was a big deal.
I knew for a fact that we weren't going to finish on time.
That's right, Ray.
No, screw you, Ray. No, I did my best. All right, we are live. She has amazing lighting. The sound is coming in great. Hopefully, if the sound is coming in great, just tell us, guys.
Tell us if it's not. Tell us if it's not.
Because I can fix everything quickly. But no, you were doing a case yesterday. You were doing a hearing, and
a 4.5 hour hearing.
4.5
3 hour
tour.
Yeah, we're those old people that we sing a song with every phrase.
And I know it was 4:25. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and scrap today's episode, and we'll reschedule it for tomorrow.
And I think I was like there, like barking at my client about what happened in the case. Poor fella. Sorry.
There we go.
I don't know why I wanted to adjust this way, but
sounds on point this week. Appreciate it, Ray. We appreciate you for always joining in on us, sharing, liking. He's actually, we got to give a shout out to Ray because
we do every time.
He is honestly one of the biggest fans.
Yeah, he's VIP at the fan club.
he's VIP.
He gets all the special, material.
Exactly. But no, at 4:30, I noticed like, yeah, this is not going to happen, and I went in. And you were laser focused on the hearing. And
I remember that hearing. I was like, I was lit up at the end of that hearing.
Let it out.
I was like, I can do the podcast.
I'm like, no.
Yeah, I can do it. He's like, ooh, you're scary right now. This is scary, Aaron. Let's not do this. So, actually, at the conclusion of my hearing, the opposing counsel tried to tell me what can and cannot be in a closing argument.
Oh, someone's trying to tell you what to do?
I cut her off. I was like, I don't think you need to tell me. And the judge was like, whoa. He stopped me from like laying down. He's like, both of you are, learned counsel. I'm sure that you guys know how to, and I won't be considering things that are not to be considered. And, but that was like so rude.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. If you know Aaron and you work with Aaron and you deal with Aaron, don't tell Aaron what to do. I'm sorry. Like you don't.
That's a big deal for me. I do not, and that kind of like sanctimonious kind of. Yeah, I just want to advise that in a.
It's like they feel like they're doing you a favor, just like
No, they
telling
don't.
You.
She was trying to tell me what to do.
Oh no!
She wasn't trying to do me a favor. She tried to tell me, and don't worry, I stopped her.
While we're all doing this, like I'm just sharing this to all our family group pages and just sharing it around. So if you're watching on the live feed, go ahead, give us a thumbs up, share it to your friends and family, because we have some really cool stuff to talk about tonight, and we get to talk about a press release that we're going to be doing at the end of this episode.
Are we previewing the press release?
Is
it a pre-press release?
It's the pre-press release. There we go.
I guess you'll have to wait till the end. We're going to do that like
literally at the buzzer.
Yeah.
But we have something pretty cool that we're going to be doing with basically the city of, or the state of Florida, in a sense.
I mean, it's something cool we're going to do with the state of divorces.
State of divorces, exactly.
You have some struggling. Are you struggling to afford a lawyer? Stay tuned.
Exactly. And but no, also the today was a really emotional day.
Oh yeah. Hey, listen, it's always the client's ability to speak about their case.
Yeah,
if they want to.
So without going into full detail, 3 years ago, I was involved in an incident that got me into some serious trouble.
Was bullshit.
And
there goes our boost.
Things got out of hand. Things got out of hand extremely quickly, and I got into a huge case that it should not have happened in the first place.
Wrongly accused.
Exactly. And
which happens. That's why we have a justice system.
Exactly.
Justice prevailed today.
And throughout the ordeal, like I went through different counsels, because my initial counsel was just not up to par with the case, with the charges themselves.
The irony is that this was their practice area.
Yeah, it was. And through turn of events, through things that happened, I started working with you. And I'm going to give credit where credit's due. I got to give a shout out to Carlos, because if he hadn't like talked to me again that day at Graffiti Junction, I don't think I would have taken the offer. But he told me to jump ship at the right time, because you know what happened with that firm.
Yeah, right. That was a good jump for you.
And we, I jumped ship. I told you about the case. You were just like fired up about it. You like, there was so much anger and passion, and like just the willingness to like give me a chance, put me in, coach, put me in.
Yeah. I was like, let me try again.
And I swear to you, with honestly the first 2 weeks of your firm being on my case was more done in the 2 years that was being held by a previous counsel and previous firm. And this morning, I was just going through some emails, and the state attorney's office entered the null prosequis on my case, which means that the case has been dropped, closed, dismissed by the state attorney's office. I'm free, baby. I am free. I'm.
And I remember that there was a bit of a path in this case, right? Yeah. Where there was a really crappy offer, right? So the offer for the plea deal was really crappy.
Yeah.
And you're like, what if we counter with this? And what if we counter with that? And I'm like,
because I'm gonna be real with you, and I'll be real with the audience. It wouldn't have looked good if it would have gone to trial, because of I thought, in my opinion, and that's why I have to listen to counsel. Honest to God, people, listen to your attorneys. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, this one knows what she's doing. This one fucking knows what she's. Oh, that one lost the boost again.
Yeah.
She knows what she's doing. But no, this morning I got that, and I was.
Yeah, and you really want to, and again, there were other attorneys involved that we knew, that we consulted with, and they said engage in discussions about. Engage in discussions about getting a plea deal.
Correct.
Talk please. This is what you should try. You should agree to this. And they were all crappy. This was just crappy all around.
We got a lot of good advice from a lot of good attorneys. And I honestly, like, the biggest shout out to Attorney Bonilla. She worked long and hard on this case as well, and she because you were still on your way to the office this morning when I got the news,
Yeah.
and I was literally in shock when I got when I printed out the paper and I took it to Gabby. I was shaking when I gave it to her, and she's like, "What's wrong with you? Are you okay?" And literally, as she read the no prosecchis, it was just like celebration time. And then you came in and you saw me like
I remember. I think this is an important part of the story, in my opinion.
Mhm.
That we should engage in this discussion about a plea deal. We should take the plea. Maybe we should ask for this. Maybe we should go. And I was like, Patricio. I remember leaning back in the chair. I was like, I want a no pros. I was like,
You did say that.
I was like, I want them to give it up. I'm like, I want them to completely back down.
100% from day one. That was your stance. That was your view on the case. And
I was like, I'm gonna let you do what you want to do, but I'm not giving a counteroffer yet. I ain't ready.
And we, like I said, we talked to other attorneys. They weighed in, and at the end of the day, I mean, it was Team Morse that brought the no.
We got a lot of like, you should offer this. If you get this, it's a good deal. And I was like, their facts ain't good.
and that's the thing. You're a family attorney,
right?
You're a familia, family, child support.
This was a favor to a friend.
This was literally like the biggest favor to a friend, and like you. And I remember there was, and I'm sorry we're talking about this, guys, but I'm just like, I want to give you
like I wanted to do like the Rocky stairs.
A testimony. There was one day that a motion was filed, and you got in there. Yeah, it was virtual, and you were stating you're making.
So
your
we
open
filed
statement.
the motion. It got
There,
set for
thank you.
hearing, and then I enter into the hearing. Go ahead.
Yeah, and you just start talking. You just went full throttle. And the judge, and I've never seen this, honestly, like till that day, I never seen where the judge is like, Attorney Morse, I'm going to stop you right there. Motion granted. You hadn't even finished.
I was like,
You hadn't even finished, and the motion was granted in our favor. We were able to move forward.
The judge actually said, I'm really only holding this hearing because I want to hear what the possible opposition to this motion is.
Yeah, and they didn't have.
What do you have to say for yourself, counsel? I was like,
they didn't have shit. They didn't have shit. Just saying. It at the end of the day, wow, I hate that.
Thank you.
I
It's a
hate
good
that
liquor
phrase.
cabinet, right?
I hate that phrase.
What phrase?
At the end of the day.
Oh.
Yeah, but
You could say ultimately.
ultimately,
In conclusion. Subsequently. Therefrom. Heretofore which now.
I hope this email finds you well.
Yeah.
But no, it's over. It's over. I can.
It's over.
I can put it to rest. I am extremely excited. But above all, I am extremely thankful to the law office of Aaron Morse, and of course, the name is right there, Aaron Morse, for going above and beyond on my case because she saw something that other people didn't.
No one else saw.
And
a couple people were like, I don't know that they'll no pros this because.
Yeah, there were a lot of naysayers.
And I was like, I want to know.
You know what? You can do the whole Rocky thing. You were the underdog.
I was.
You were totally the underdog in this fight.
Everybody was like, it's. I'm gonna call it like it is. I know it's weird or strange to say or it's uncomfortable to talk about. But I was gonna use it in my case. This was a dark-skinned Hispanic man and a petite white woman, and that's what it was against. And it was a female attorney and. I was like, I don't think I care. Like, I don't. I was like, I am going to use that to my advantage. I'm going to argue that. I'm going to, lay this down this way. I was like, no, I want a no pros because this is bullshit and they can't meet their burden. I actually put together a summary of all the evidence, provided all the evidence and compared it to the law. Like I basically set out the case.
Yeah.
And I said by, these very statements and this law, I provided the definitions. I was real sanctimonious in this, but I provided the definitions and I said, it isn't possible to meet your burden.
Exactly.
The facts don't match up with what the law requires for this particular charge. So They didn't.
And good God Almighty, it is freaking
Free
over.
at last.
I was gonna go down that route.
Well,
Yeah, free at last.
this was an unfair situation. I'm not sure the motives behind it. I don't need to get into that. That's not my problem, right? That's not my department.
But as a family attorney, taking on a high level criminal case shows just like her ability to take on whatever situation comes her way and freaking kick its ass. And look, I've known Erin to almost like 2 years today, actually, because I shared that post with you. On I don't say it because I work for you. I don't say it because everything that I say it because you are honestly like a godsend. You are the greatest thing in my life, and I give you praise from here till eternity because you basically gave me my freedom. Thank you.
Yeah, it wasn't going down like that. I'm like, I see what these charges say, but that's not happening.
Exactly. So moving forward, it's done. It's over. Woohoo! Barbecue tomorrow. But no, we are 1 week away from the Super Bowl, from the GOAT. I'm saying it now. I'm calling him the GOAT now.
My boy.
Your boy Tom Brady and who's the other
Hometown
team?
here.
Oh yeah, those guys.
Does it even matter?
Yeah, I can't.
Does it even matter?
Kentucky City. I can't. It's something with a K. I don't know yet. No, they shouldn't even bother showing up. It's over. It's fine. It's over. It's fine.
They're going. They're doing the case so that they can ultimately, like, learn, right?
Yeah.
Learn from the best, right? The opportunity.
Exactly.
The opportunity to just watch it.
So you could hear first, guys. Aaron saying, what are they called? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to win the Super Bowl. Fair?
I mean, I'm a Tom Brady fan, so Tom Brady and whoever he plays with is
really out of all those. You put that one up.
Listen, guess what, Chris? He ain't gonna wear nothing because it's null pros completely. That means it's completely dismissed. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
But okay. We do have a lot to talk about, but we did get a question via email this week. Yeah,
a good one.
And it's a really good one because I talked to the gentleman and he was really passionate about what was going on. And he was like, look, I've been watching you guys for a little bit. I listen to you guys' show. Like he's a listener. And he sent us a question because he's in this situation. So I'll go ahead and let you, Aaron, read the question.
Okay. I represent myself, but I had a lawyer of record because he didn't do the paperwork in a timely fashion. I was ordered to have a social investigation. On January 6th, opposing counsel emailed my ex-lawyer and asked if he had any objection to what she was going to file. He included me on the response and said he isn't my lawyer, but he has no objection to it. He should have not responded. He can't have a position at all. Okay, anyway, sorry for interjecting. I immediately responded that I have objections. On January 8, opposing counsel filed the order for social investigation. What recourse do I have since I told her I objected before she filed? So my question, I have a couple of questions here before
you give the answer.
Right. Was it a motion for a social investigation? Or was it an order on the social investigation, right? So if it was just a motion, you can file a motion for anything. You can ask for anything. Whether the court will grant it is another question. And generally, what ends up happening is there has to be a hearing on things that are contested. However, social investigations aren't really that bad. Okay. Right? Generally, they're not.
What is a social investigation?
So it's where there's going to kind of be an evaluation of the parties and the children to basically make a recommendation to help and assist the court in developing a parenting plan for the parties.
Okay.
So I imagine you don't have anything to hide at your home and during your time sharing. And that investigation, again, is just supposed to be a professional to provide recommendations to the court. I don't think they're a terribly bad thing. My hope is that the facts of your case and on your behalf don't shine negatively upon you so that you'll be fine.
Okay.
Generally, I think the only colorable objection to a social investigation might be to cost. but I don't think that's a bad thing. Now I want to know some more details, like what did she file? You know, you do have some due process and an opportunity to be heard on the issue. But you know, what are your objections to it? That's the other thing I'd like to know. Is like, why do you not want a social investigation? Is it just that you didn't know what it was? I'm happy to explain it. It's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
No.
Yeah, no. So with his thing, if it was a motion, he could file whatever in response to
Or
it,
go to the hearing.
and
You
go
can
to the
provide
hearing.
your position at the hearing. You don't have to file necessarily.
But however, if it was an actual order signed by the judge,
It's gonna happen.
it's going to happen.
So now here's the other question that I might have. It says right here, I was ordered to have a social investigation. Okay.
hmm
Now, the proposed order, I imagine, is just what the attorney typed up for the order to be entered.
Okay.
And I want to know what your objections are to that order. Right? So if the order is untrue or an inaccurate reflection of what the court ordered specifically, if your objections are, I don't want a social investigation, despite the fact that a hearing already happened and the court ordered the social investigation, that's dumb. Right? You can't be like, oh, I object to this order because I don't want it ordered.
Gotcha.
Like the court, you know, when people go in front of the court, what ends up happening is one person says, yes, I want this done. The other person says, no, I don't. And the court has to rule against someone.
Yeah.
So you can't say I have objections to the order because you don't want it ordered. Like, you already had your chance to say that. If the court already ordered it, and it's just the secretarial nature of getting that order entered,
hmm
you're out of luck.
I get
Court ruled against you, and I'm sorry, but that does happen, right? It happens, you know, obviously 50% of the time people get ruled against because the courts have to rule one way or another.
Uh-huh.
So that's kind of the play that we have going on there.
Yeah, no, it's forgive me for saying it, it's a shitty situation. It really is.
Yeah, but a social investigation, that's generally not a bad thing.
Mhm.
Unless you're like, yo, I'm a really big drug addict and I don't want them here because I got all my needles out.
Sorry.
Put them away.
You caught me off guard with that one.
Put them away.
But
Clean up your house right now.
but thank you so much for the question. We really do appreciate it.
And hopefully we get the opportunity to speak more, because I feel like there's me having the opportunity to ask some more questions might weed out exactly what your position is, right? Because I had to make a lot of assumptions here. So that's why it's not generally a fair representation or an accurate way to answer this question, right? Because now I have a bunch of questions. Was it already ordered? Did you go to a hearing? What did the order say? What is it that you object to, right? Does it also say that, you know, on Tuesdays, a clown should come to your house and hit you with a rubber mallet, right? Like, you know, is there something in there that's totally off base? You could file for some relief from that. There is a way to adjust and repair that if such an error occurred.
Awesome. And we thank you for the question. And like I said, like Attorney Morse said, 407-900-7451. Well, you want to get more, you want more info on the situation. So go and give us a call, 407-900-7451, to schedule that consultation with Attorney Morse to go over your case. Now, on tonight's subject, before we go into the big reveal that we have to talk about, tonight's episode, we want to talk about parenting plans. And what they are, what they entail, and what to do if a parenting plan isn't in your favor. So for the folks, what is a parenting plan?
A parenting plan is legally required in the state of Florida, and it outlines your rights and responsibilities to your children. There are certain statutory requirements and certain statutory considerations the court has to make in developing one. So a lot of things go into a parenting plan. Some things are optional.
Okay.
Some things are not optional. Some things are mandatory, and there are free forms for these online.
But so basically it entails like the responsibilities between the mother and the father,
Right.
on what needs to be done with the child, whether it's medical
Yes.
expenses, school decisions, all that stuff.
Time sharing.
Time sharing.
How you communicate, right? How you speak with the other parent, communicate with them, who makes the decisions, and whose school whose address has school designation, taxes, who gets to claim the minor children.
So a lot will be put into a parenting plan.
Ton. I have a provision in my parenting plans that are the rights of the child. So I have about 6 provisions that outline the rights of the child, so that becomes more enforceable, or hopefully it inspires the parents to be more peaceable with each other.
So a lot of the times, like a parenting plan will come up mainly in a divorce, right?
Or paternity action. So any time in which the parental responsibility of a child is in question.
Okay. And that right there will be able to lay out what everyone's role.
Nearly everything. Now, I say this all the time, but it's true. The law is not built to remedy every wrong.
Okay.
So just because, like, every time he goes over his dad's house, they lose the lunchbox. I had a client speak to me at least 3 different times, right? They set an appointment, paid for the time with me to talk about, I had to buy her 4 lunchboxes this year.
There are some battles where they're worth the fight, but there are other ones like just let it go.
What's the court going to do about that?
Exactly. Like,
what do you think a judge is going to say? You are ordered
to reimburse for the new lunch boxes, or you take better care of the lunch boxes.
As far as I'm concerned, what that really should mean is that you switch to the paper ones.
Yeah.
I don't know. So find a solution.
And how you said earlier that any kind of motion can be entered to the court, but you don't want to waste the court's time because.
Right, but should you?
Exactly.
You could put a hand turkey on a piece of paper with the case style, and the clerk will accept it.
But,
right? It'll be in the court file.
But
you'd be a fucking moron to do it.
Bye, Boost.
Every time I cuss, we can't use it as an advertisement.
Yeah.
What's the matter, Scooby?
Hey, Scoob.
Scooby-Doo here.
So
he's on the case.
On a paternity action, paternity action and divorce is when a parenting plan comes in. Now, let's say, for example, a final judgment on a divorce. Everything gets entered. Everything gets signed. Ordered by the judge. Boom, your divorce. Boom, parenting plan is put into motion.
It's totally that easy too.
Yeah.
I definitely don't pore over these things for like hours and hours.
And everyone's supposed to follow what is on these pieces of paper.
And they always do, invariably.
And that's where I'm leading in right now. When it's time to act and daddy or mommy doesn't want to follow along with the guidelines and rules established by the court in your divorce, in your paternity, what happens then?
Well, you could file a motion for contempt and enforcement for failure to follow the parenting plan.
And that right there, like, what does what to the person who's not doing what they got to do? Well,
it will have the court enter an adverse order against them that they have not been following it. One of the other sanctions is reimbursement of attorney's fees. So they could be ordered to pay attorney's fees. And they're, depending on the circumstance of whatever this might be, the court can make additional orders to ensure enforcement.
Yeah. And
go outside.
Oh, you want? I got him.
You got it?
Talk to the peoples.
So in order to make sure that you can enforce these provisions, you also have to consider the fact that you need to be able to prove what's happening. So even though there might be a court order that the children are to arrive at, in your parenting plan, it might say that the children are to arrive at both parents' home with their belongings and, ready to leave the house. But if in the alternative, dad sends the child and you've lost the lunchbox for the 4th time this year, is it worth going to court for that?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I don't want to waste the course time. I don't want to waste.
It sounds to me like on the days, you're sending your child to school, when the other parent will pick up the child, you send your son or daughter with the paper lunch sack.
Don't give them the opportunity to.
If it bothers you that much, seriously, like if it makes you that upset, or when you see them on sale at the end of the season, right? You buy 5.
And you're only using the example of the lunchbox as a metaphor to basically every other situation.
Right, as a metaphor, right? So the lunchbox issue, if someone came to me with that, which someone had, I wouldn't take that to court. I just wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's not fair. It's not fair to you, right? Your money is better used perhaps buying lunchboxes, not exactly litigating this issue. So the hope is that, we keep it to the issues that are absolutely important, and that, you absolutely have to enforce. So I do my best not to bring those things before the court, and I'm sure judges are happy by that, because also judges are busy.
Yeah.
They're overburdened, right? They do work for our government, and they're probably not paid enough, in my opinion, for what they have to do. It's hard litigating and being a judge over, family law cases, I imagine, is so difficult. And they have a ton of cases. And why would we waste their time with this?
We don't want to
It's
waste
so
their
unfair.
time. They got so much other bigger fish to fry.
I have bigger fish to fry. I have crazy cases that I need to litigate. So, I don't think that's the best use of anyone's time or money.
No, not at all. Not at all. So moving forward with the topic of parenting plan. So we've talked about like what a parenting plan entails, what its role is once it's entered by the court, what happens when either mommy or daddy don't want to listen or follow the guidelines of the parenting plan. Now, here's the one question where there are, I believe me, I know tons of people in this certain predicament. What happens? Let's say, for example, you have a job, you work on certain days, and you set this parenting plan by that schedule, and then boom, you get promoted, job has changed, hours change, everything changes.
Well, hopefully you can still have your time sharing the same, right? Hopefully you don't have to change it. It isn't that inconvenient for that reason. Secondarily, hopefully you have a decent enough relationship with the mother of your child,
or the father.
Mother or father of your child, sorry. That you could talk to them and say, hey, listen, now I work on the day, this is what I need your assistance with, and that they're flexible with it. If you had to, we could take that in front of the court for a petition for modification. But our hope would be that you could resolve it directly with the other parent.
Yeah, and normally when that happens, there has to be a modification to the actual parenting plan, because sometimes either
you don't have to actually modify. If the two of you agree and you come to an agreement, and I would get it in at least a text message. But if the two of you come to that agreement, it's fine.
But it wouldn't be enforceable in a sense, would it?
Right. No, it wouldn't be. Perhaps I can find a way. I could get creative, but it wouldn't be an incident where they'd really be able to hold you in contempt for it. Right. The other thing is, there's no parenting plan police. So no one's coming to your door. It's Tuesday. The children are supposed to be with dad. This is dad's house. Do you have the kids? Are they here? Did they bring the lunchbox? Is the lunchbox here? Yep. Okay. Yep. I'm reporting that the lunchbox, the lunchbox came with the child. The child is at the father's house. Okay. Thank you. Have a nice day, sir. They're not doing that. They're not doing that. No one's enforcing this on your behalf. No, there's no, again, it's the argument and the testimony and the evidence of the parties. So for that reason, you should make sure that if you have any type of change or anything like that, maybe you keep track of it. If you think that there is some kind of chronic problem, let's keep track of it. On the alternative, if it's something that the two of you are agreeing to, like maybe on Christmas, the court ordered that one parent has Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and until the 28th. But the two of you have come to an agreement that on Christmas Day, you'll split the day in half. Because dad's family always has dinner on Christmas Day and mom's family always has dinner on Christmas Eve. And that seems to work for your family. Do that. Do that shit, right? That's fine. You don't need to call an attorney. You don't need to go to court. You don't need to get it modified. If the two of you come to an agreement, I recommend getting it in a text message, maybe saving that text message if you need to. But you don't have to fight if you can avoid it.
Exactly.
We should reserve it for the, he's held my kid back for 2 weeks. And how do I get my kid back? Right? I want to go to court on that issue. That person needs my help.
No, fair. So, Michael, another question that I have for you when it comes to ordered child support. All right. Like you have to pay a certain amount of money each month. Now, let's say, for example, Papa loses his job or they demoted him or something happens where he's not making the amount of money that he's making and he can't provide. He doesn't want to fall back on child support. He doesn't want to get his driver's license revoked or anything like that. Like what happens at that point?
Well, he's got to go to court. He's going to have to file something and ask for a hearing. He should probably, when he loses his job, the first thing he should do is go to the courthouse and file a petition for modification. So once you put in that petition for modification and you put the change in circumstances, you can, preserve your ability not to be held in contempt.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean you don't need to move forward with it. That just means filing it saves you. You have to move forward with it.
You have to schedule the hearing. You have to appear.
Yeah, you have to do the things.
Yeah, all the things.
All the things, right? So, you will be able to get some relief on that and the court will make a consideration on it, but you got to tell them. You can't just be like, oh, I lost my job. So, I don't know, pockets out Monopoly, man.
I know. And look, you can go on Google all you want. You can check out, you can print out, you can do everything that you can do within your limitations. But here's the thing. It would be so much easier to be able to just contact an attorney, sit down with them, get the proper information, not just Google. Like your Google law degree is not going to get everything in order. There are some situations in some cases where they need to have legal counsel with them to assist them with these kind of cases and situations. Right. Was that yours or mine? Oh, it was mine.
It was you.
Yeah. Ooh, sweet. My Amazon package will be shipped. Yay. I've been waiting.
I have constant of those notifications.
I've always been against ordering online.
Why?
Because I like to go in person and make sure okay, this fits. Oh, this looks good. Okay, I'm going to buy this right now. Here's my card. Swipe it.
I'm so for online.
And I carry it into my car, drive it home, and boom, I'm happy. But what happened?
Sure. Go ahead and send your question via text to 407-900-7451.
Oh, sweet. We're getting a text message through the watch. But no, quick story as we wait for that question. 2 weeks ago, I'm rearranging my room and I find this projector that I just haven't used.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to order me a projection screen. Oh, go ahead.
Stand by. If you text message that number, it will remain confidential. Period. We won't use your name.
Boom. We're getting a question live on the air, folks.
We really do get these questions. And because I'm live streaming from my phone, I couldn't respond on my phone, but I got to watch. So sometimes I can do two things at one time.
Thank you, Apple.
Chew gum and walk.
But no, I want to use this projector and I put up this sheet on my wall. So it's a nice little screen. But of course, that looks bougie. I'm like, you know what?
Such a good story.
Let me order the projection screen and a sound bar. Amazon breaks them as they were being shipped. They tell me about a week later, oh, yeah, you're not going to get it. Finally, I just get the text message. It's finally coming in, so I'm very excited about that. Sorry, going back to parenting plans.
But you're all glad to have heard that story.
Yeah. Well, no, we're waiting on the question, right? She's texting it to us.
She'll get it to us.
Sweet.
She may not.
Okay, well, hopefully we'll get that text message. He or she, we don't want to go into all that. But no, parenting plans. They're important. Follow them. If you don't, or if someone is breaking the agreements that you guys had in court, 407-900-7451. Make an appointment with Attorney Morse to go over your case, go over the facts, and get the information that you need. Like I was saying earlier, she went to law school. She knows her shit. She knows her stuff. She knows her stuff. She's going to be able to sit down with you. And the one thing that I always praise Aaron about, and the attorneys at our firm, is that they're honest with you. Even if it's something that you don't want to hear, they're going to give you the truth. They're going to give you the hardcore facts that you need to hear to be able to move forward with your case.
Yeah, I do my best, right? Because
yep.
You can't guarantee what happens in court, and if anybody who does that for you, you should be concerned, right?
And I'm
it's
sure
like guaranteeing someone else's behavior.
You can't do that.
How can you?
No way.
Right?
No way, shape, or form. But I will say this one quote that I hear from everyone who calls in, clients, prospects. They say, well, my friend got a divorce and she got all this. I want that too.
Did you marry her husband?
But the one thing that people need to understand, case by case basis. Not every case is the same. There are complexities that
And judges are different. Some judges have different theories.
Mhm.
I know some judges who will completely reject a parenting plan if you put certain terms in it. Certain terms that may be legal or are kind of on a line, but they may be unwilling to accept certain things about a parenting plan. So some judges will accept certain things and some judges won't. And there are some judges who would accept a final judgment and let that be signed without child support, without addressing child support. Now, there are some judges who say, no, you just writing that you agree against child support is violative of the statute, which it really is. So it all depends on who your judge is.
You see, Google couldn't tell you that. You need someone to interpret the law for you to have a better understanding.
Who knows our judges?
You do.
Right. I'm in front of them often,
And they like you. They like you a lot.
Yeah.
But right now, as we wait for the question, let me see. Do we have any questions? Let me go to our thing real quick. Is there something you want to get?
Do you have the texting service on your cell phone?
I do not. I can pull it up on there.
Can you?
Yeah.
Oh, this one will be able to pull it up?
Yeah, if you open up a new tab.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure that.
And it's actually one of my.
I know I get them to my phone, but
Mhm.
sometimes it's easier. Okay. You get them to your phone? Is that what you said?
No, I'm saying if you open up the tab and I have the.
I do get them to my phone.
What do you call it? The save tabs.
Got it.
Bookmarks. That's the word.
Got it. There we are.
We got the question.
No.
Oh, okay. But yeah, no. Look at that. It's 6:45 in the evening, and someone has a question, and they want to talk to an attorney. Look at what we're doing. We're literally doing it live.
Let's do it live.
Have it. Boost.
Okay. Let me see what we've got here.
Yeah, we would screen share, but that'd be breaking attorney-client privilege.
We don't do that. Okay. Let me see.
Ooh. I'm gonna have one of these real quick.
Okay.
Please stand by. There we go.
I want to get a divorce. This is another question that we have. I wanted to get a divorce from my wife, but she left the country, USA. My house. It's a funny way to say that. The country, USA. My house have been abandoned for more than 2 years, question mark. Those are statements and not a question. However, I believe that I could surmise what your question is. If my wife has been missing or has abandoned us and left the United States, and she has abandoned probably the house that two of you own, can you get a divorce? Yes, we can make that happen. You do an affidavit of diligent search, you try to reach her, but if you can't, you can still be able to get your divorce. So someone just commented, so sad, I want to keep watching, but it's skipping around a bunch.
Really? Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Let me.
Hopefully, well, it's on my stream.
Oh, on your stream. Okay.
Hopefully, the video later will be a little bit better.
Or you could jump onto the Facebook page, Facebook or YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah, if you go to morse-firm.com, you could click on the podcast and you can see it live from our page.
You could also listen to it as a podcast.
Yes. We have listeners.
So if you want to listen to it later, in your car, if you have a long drive, then you could do that.
Yeah, I actually got told the other day that they listen to our podcast as they're driving to work.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm like, yay, we made it. We made it into your car. That's awesome.
Okay. All right.
The question is in?
Yeah, we got another question. Yeah, ding, ding, ding. Let me see. Come on. It's loading here. Streaming too many things. Okay. I lost my kids this September because they were around some DCF didn't like. So someone DCF didn't like.
Okay.
And they accused me of driving with the kids in the car while I was drinking. So instead of DCF taking them, I placed them in my cousin's care. Shortly after, she got temporary guardianship of the two boys. And the last court date, they didn't even speak to me, just gave me a 90-day. Well, I'm not sure that I caught a question there. Those are also statements. But The good news is it seems like you probably have some control over this case. Now, of course, I want to mention that, based on this phone number, I'm not sure if this is if this is a person in Florida. So I only practice in Florida, and I can only give you legal advice in Florida. So the good news is that under Florida law, all of my advice will, of course, be based on Florida law because that's where I'm licensed. But it sounds to me like if you are cooperative with DCF and through the guardianship case, it sounds to me like they're going to give you the opportunity to get your children back. And I'm not sure what a 90-day is, but it must be a new 90-day hearing or some other 90-day deadline.
Mm-hmm.
And DCF is going to often be against you. They are really, really difficult. So you almost have to go way above and beyond when you're dealing with DCF. But the goal is usually reunification, and it sounds to me like reunification is the goal in your case. So the best advice that I can give you in this scenario is to make the caseworker your best friend, right? Bring her donuts, make sure that she's somebody who you keep in contact with. Make sure that at any time you could pass a drug test. Make sure that you have the ability to just make her so happy. And every time you feel anxious or you feel worried about your kids, you should do something to better your situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Read a parenting book, take an online class.
While holding a milkshake. While holding the
My
effing
boo.
milkshake.
Make sure that you do everything you can. Make sure you have a job. Make sure that your house is looking tidy. Make anything you can. And then the other thing that you can do, obviously you want to listen to each and every one of the recommendations that they provide you. You don't want to veer from them at all. You want to do more. You want to go above and beyond. You want to be cooperative with all of it. And the other thing that you can do is ask her what she wants. Like, what more can I do? How can I be more cooperative, right? Show up to every hearing, be on time, thank you. It's awful, but you really want to put yourself in a position where you just are cooperative and you are in contact with them constantly. Make them annoyed at how much they have to hear from you. I did this. I have this report. I went to this meeting. I went to this class. I went and I did this because, and here's the other thing. A lot of times through DCF, what they do is they almost, the courts aren't very good at communicating this. DCF isn't good at communicating this, but they're actually obligated to provide you with services to assist you in this reunification. So what you need to do, if there's something that you need or some assistance that you need, ask them, hey, I need help with X, Y, and Z. I need to resolve this with this other situation or this way, right? If you need help with rent, you need help with getting out of a crappy situation if you're around somebody who they think is a danger to your child. If you feel like, I'm not saying that it is, but if you feel like you have trouble quitting drinking, the best thing to do, maybe see if they have a treatment program you can do. Even if you feel like you don't have a drinking problem or you really do not have a drinking problem, see if there's a treatment program you can do. If you do all of these things, ultimately, once you get to these final hearings, and again, you want to keep track of everything. You want to make a notebook, right? And in the first few pages of this notebook, you want to have lined paper, and you want to write down the contact information of everybody who you have to deal with. You want to have that written down. And then on the subsequent pages, you want to almost make this a journal of everything that's happened. Every time you're going to keep this journal with you. And even if it's a smaller journal, right, you make it a smaller one so it fits in your purse. Every time you have an interaction of any sort, what you want to do is you want to write it down. You want to write down who you spoke to, what their phone number is, what their name is, what you spoke about, and what they said. And then any other documents that you need. Never give your originals to the court, to a person, or whatever. You keep a copy and you give them a copy, right? So you make sure that every single thing that you have a copy of. You got to be diligent. You got to be obsessed with the process, and
Johnny
it
on
will
the
be
spot.
over. Okay.
You got to be Johnny on the spot on those.
You do. So when I represent clients in these scenarios, I actually print them and give them a binder and a notebook with some like worksheets. So again, you're going to talk to everybody, cooperate with everybody. That's the quickest way to get it done. Now, you can enter an objection, or you can challenge the validity of what they did and say you don't want to go through this process and go to a hearing. I don't recommend doing that without an attorney. So if you don't have an attorney, or the attorney that the state assigned to you you're feeling like isn't very competent, you're going to keep these obsessive, diligent documents and records, right? Every time you talk to someone, you write it down, who it was. You're going to keep it all in the same notebook. You're going to keep your folders together. You're going to have copies of everything. If you have a smartphone, you have a way to have a free scanner. So every time you receive a document of any sort, if you have to, scan it on your phone, right? So again, I'm really sorry that you had this unfortunate situation, and I don't wish these circumstances on anybody, and the court gets them wrong often. DCF does not do a good job with this. I'm not here to tell you that they do, but what you have to do is you have to do a better job, right? You have to kind of pull through on this because your children need you to, right? So if you have ever been the kind of person who said, I would do anything for my kids, this is the anything that you need to do. You need to not be afraid of it. You need to attack it. You need to be polite and professional and cooperative with everyone you have to deal with, because it fucking sucks.
Boost.
Going through this process. It does. It's unfortunate. And I really am sorry that you didn't have an opportunity like that you have difficulty going through this. If the guardianship is temporary, it does mean that you can challenge it and get your children back. So be willing to do it. Do something that will benefit or make your case more positive every day. Write down what that effort was. Also, it's worth mentioning that you make your case better when you work on yourself. So if you think that counseling is something that would assist you, or counseling for your children, or some kind of other reunification is something that would be helpful, tell the court that that's what you need. Hey, I need this service. Hey, I need to make sure that I get my children health care. I need to make sure that I get my children enough food. I struggle with providing food for them. Whatever it might be, they are obligated to provide assistance. So I hope that I've answered your question. If there are any follow-up questions, be sure to reach right out to us, because you're in an unfortunate situation, but this is solvable. Getting out on the better side of this and coming out on the side of this where you win and you get this case right, it's in your power. You've got this, okay?
You got the power.
That's right.
I'm sorry.
We're those old people that sing a song with every phrase. Remember your grandpa did that?
Wow. How's it up there on your shoebox? Dang, you went on a tangent right there.
I know. DCF sucks.
Yeah, it does. It does. Did we ever get the question from the
That's it.
That was it. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. We thank everybody who threw in their questions, who commented on the live feed. And
I see some people who kind of came in at the last minute. If you really want to hear that tirade, the video will be up. You could start from the beginning. Again, like we said before, podcasts, anywhere you watch a podcast, listen. I guess you listen to podcasts. And YouTube. Whatever you want. Whatever you want to do. If you want to watch a podcast, it's a free country. You can do what you want.
Oh man, but as we near the end, we have a really, really big announcement that we're going to be releasing on our social media, and there's going to be a press release, because go ahead. You want me to?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me blow myself up on the screen right here. Okay. So I'm going to read our press release. Okay. We at the Law Office of Aaron Morse understand that 2020 had a negative impact on everyone's lives. The coronavirus took jobs, social interaction, homes, and for some, life itself. As our world slowly continues to rebuild, the Law Office of Aaron Morse would like to offer some help. That is why we are going to give one couple a free divorce for Valentine's Day.
With my really good parenting plan.
Now, Valentine's Day is meant to spend and celebrate with that special someone, but unfortunately, there are situations where you just can't. You can't afford a divorce. There's so many factors involved that you just can't move forward with it.
Right.
But we're gonna
give a free divorce.
We're gonna give away a free divorce.
So there's some fine print, but you'll have to follow our social media for it.
Exactly.
Also, we're gonna release who the winner is on Will it be actual Valentine's Day?
It will not. We will, because we are doing the contest ends February 12th, 2021, and we will be announcing the winner live on our show Thursday, February 28th. But this is all in
February 28th.
February 18th.
18th. I
Yeah.
was like, that's a long time.
Yeah,
from Valentine's Day.
But we're gonna assess every story. We're gonna factor in everything, and we're gonna be giving away a free divorce to one special couple out there, because hopefully next year you'll be able to spend it with someone you actually love. I hate to say it like that.
Ah!
Hey, we've talked about it on the show before.
Hey, we don't do divorces because we don't believe in marriage. It's because we do, but you should be in the right one.
Wow. Wow.
And with that, I'm out.
But as always, 407-900-7451. Go to morse-firm.com if you'd like to schedule an appointment or a consultation.
You can go right to our consultation page, and there's a button. It says click here, and it will bring you right to a calendar to schedule.
Boom.
You can keep your social distancing, telephone anxiety to a minimum.
Exactly. And we'll be releasing the press release at the conclusion of this episode. You can go to our Facebook page and see it and share it. Believe me, because this thing's going to get wild. It's going to pick up some steam.
I'm nervous.
And yeah, if
I'm
you know someone that is in dire need of a divorce,
my husband just brought me a milkshake.
you are lucky. But once again, 407-900-7451. Go to morse-firm.com. Right there, click on our link for podcast if you want to listen to our previous episodes. This is actually episode 11.
11.
We've gone pretty far, and I'm loving this. And I know we're gonna have more eyes on us over the next few weeks as we move forward with this contest. But I know you said you're done. You know what? That's it. Yeah, I'm gonna let her sip her milkshake, and we are out, folks. We'll see you guys next week.